Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Tonight we're going to begin the worship of Brahma. And let's turn to page 289 and we'll begin reading the Sanskrit. Om Tat Purusaya Vidmake Paratatvaya Dhimake Tano Brahma Prachodayad. Om Brahma Kamandalu Darash Chatur Bhaktras Tatu Puja Kadachit Rakta Kamale Hansarirak Chadana Varnena Rakta Goranga Prangsum Stud Ganga Unatan Kamandalu Bamakare Sruvo Haste to Dakshine Dakshinadhyasta Tahamalam Bamadascha Tata Sruvam Ajastali Bamapashwe Veda Sarve Grata Hastita Savitri Bamaparshveta Dakshinasta Saraswati Sarve Risha Vishakokya Kraya Churjata Bhishcha Chintanam Om Om Brahmane Nama Om Pam Angusta Bangdaba Om Bing Tarjani Byang Swa Om Bung Madhamabhyam Boshat Om Bang Anamikabhyang Hum Om Bong Kanishtikabhyam Boshat Om Ba Karota Kaprishka Bhyangastraya Pat Om Bom Brahmane Namaha Om Bam Ridakaya Namo Om Bing Sirase Swaha Om Bum Shikaya Ki Boshat Om Bang Kabachaya Kum Om Bom Netra Tragaya Boshat Om Ba Karota Kaprishka Bhyangastraya Pat Om Bam Brahmane Namaha. And here we perform japa, at least one mala of the Bij mantra, the Mula mantra of Brahma. And let's move on to the worship of Vishnu. Om Narayanaya Vidmake Vasudevaya Dhimaki Tanno Vishnu Prachodayad. Om Santakaram Pujakasayanam Padmanabhan Suresam Vishwadharanga Gangasadritam Megavarnam Shubham Gam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vidyana Kamyam Bande Vishnum Bhavaboya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatam Yada Yada Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanama Dharmasya Tadatmanam Srijamyaham Paritradaya Sadhunam Vinashaka Chadushkritam Dharma Sanstapanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge Nainam Chindanti Sastrani Nainantahati Pavaka Nachinanti Sakyadyopo Nacho Sakyati Marata Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanakitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namaste Trishu Lokeshu Namaste Parastrishu Namaste Dikshu Sarvasu Tvangi Sarvamakyonide Namaste Bhagavan Vishnu Lokanang Prabhavapyaya Tvangi Karta Rishikesha Sangharta Chaparajita Yata Vishnu Manyang Satyam Yata Vishnu Manyang Jagat Yata Vishnu Mayam Sarvam Padma Me Nashatam Tata Narayana Param Brahma Narayana Param Tapa Narayana Parodeva Sarvam Narayana Sada Om Klam Angusta Bangdaba Om Kling Darjani Byang Swa Om Klum Malavabhyam Boshat Om Kling Anamikabhyam Hum Om Klom Kanishtikabhyam Boshat Om Kla Karota Karpishta Bhyangastraya Om Kling Vishnave Namah Om Klam Ritakaya Namah Om Kling Shirase Sva Om Klum Shikaya Divasat Om Kling Kapachaya Kum Om Klum Netratakaya Bashat Om Kla Karota Karpishta Bhyangastraya Om Kling Vishnave Namaha. And here we perform japa of Vishnu's Bij mantra or his Mula mantra, Om Kling Vishnave Namaha. Let's go back and read the translations for Brahma and Vishnu. Because Brahma is the creative capacity and creative consciousness. Om, we meditate on that full and complete consciousness. We contemplate the highest principle. May that creative capacity give us increase. So here, may we awaken the Creator in us, in every moment. Every moment has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Every second comes into birth. Every breath, every kalakashta, every kshana, the slightest muhurt, every measurement has a beginning, and it has an end, and there's something in between. No matter how finite we can make it. And we have a declination of time from the Tantra Stara, from the Tantra Raja Tantra. Have we posted that on our website as yet? No. Well, we will this week. And you can see how very, very, very fine can we measure time. How very, very infinitesimal, down to quarks and subquarks and even subatomic particles. And Brahma is present in each of them. And Vishnu is present in each of them. And Shiva makes them become something else. So here's this creative capacity that gives birth to all that exists and makes us expand ourselves and extend ourselves and become something more than we are. Always in evolution, always in transformation. Om, Brahma holds the water pot of renunciation. He has 4 faces and 4 arms. He is colored as a red lotus. He rides upon a swan at all times. So here his 4 faces expound the 4 Vedas. They look in the 4 directions, the 4 cardinal points of the compass. They manifest all the 4s, the 4 branches of knowledge, the 4 aspirations of manifestation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. He's got all the 4s, and his 4 arms, he's performing all of this karma of making once again anew. Renewing the evolution of all existence. He is colored as a red lotus. He's got pink cheeks, and he rides on the swan at all times. Every time you do, the swan is the Hamsa, and the Hamsa is the so-hum of pranayama. And so means purak, and hum means rechak. And so hum, hamsa, the so hum of I am all of this becomes the hamsa of pranayama, the swan which carries Brahma, the creative capacity to become something greater and greater and greater. His color is red, his body is white, by his strength Ganga rose, and he keeps the water pot in his left hand and the spoon for pouring oblations of ghee in his right hand. So he's got the water pot filled with Ganga, and there's a great story about that. And it just happened the other night. It was at Kartik Purnima. And Kartik Purnima, there was a Ras. There was a Ras Lila. Shiva and Parvati were dancing in Manipur. They had seen the dance of Radha and Krishna, and they were so enamored of Radha and Krishna's dance that Shiva and Parvati began to dance, and then everybody got up and sang a song. And Saraswati sang a song, and it was very beautiful. And Shiva sang a song, and it was even more beautiful. And Radha and Krishna were dancing to Shiva's song, and from the perspiration from Krishna's brow, Ganga came. Ganga came, and when Radha saw Ganga, she looked at Krishna and said, "Hey, Don't get any ideas. I know your nature. Ganga became terrified and took refuge at Krishna's feet. And she hid there. And Radha started scolding Krishna. She said, I saw you with Pushti. I saw you with Shanti. I saw you with all of the other ladies of Golok. You always were chasing those girls. You were running after peace. You were running after nourishment. You were always taking refuge in all the divine attributes of divinity, of heaven. And now I see what you're planning to do with this Ganga. And as Krishna said, I didn't do anything. I was dancing with my beloved Radha, and here came Ganga, and it's not my fault. Brahma, protect Ganga. Take Ganga in your water pot, and you take her with you. Save her from the wrath of Radha. So Ganga entered into Brahma's kamandalu, into his water pot, and she went to the Brahma Loka. The story went on. It's really a fun story. And in his other hand, he's got the shruva, which is offering ghee into the fire. Well, do you remember when Bali was doing the yagya by which he would defeat the devas eternally? He was the king of the Asuras, and he wanted to perform the yagya by which the Asuras would occupy heaven for all eternity, and the gods would have no place to live. And the gods were thrown out of heaven, and they came to the earth, and they propitiated Vishnu. Vishnu, please, you've got to help us. You've got to find a way to stop Bali's yagya. And Vishnu said, okay. And he became a little dwarf. And the dwarf was dressed as a Brahmin. He walked right up to the yagshala where Bali was making the last of the yagyas, by which he would become the king of heaven for all eternity. He said, Bhiksham Dehi, a Brahmin has come to your door, give me some alms. And the king sent his ministers, said, give that Brahmin whatever he wants. A Brahmin said, no, I will only accept it from the hand of the king. King got up from his seat at the dais where they were making yagya. And Bali said, what a beautiful Brahmin boy you are. You're so small and cute. I'll give you anything you want. What do you want? And Brahmin, the little dwarf, he said, I'm a Brahmin by nature. All I want to do is meditate. I don't want jewels, and I don't want gold, and I don't want anything. I just want to meditate, and I want a place to meditate where nobody has the authority to disturb me. I have complete authority. I want 3 steps of land. And Bali, the king, said, I am the king of the earth. I am soon to be the king of earth and heaven. I mean, ask for something substantial. Don't insult me. I will give you villages for your support, and I will give you communities that you can call your own. I will give you a treasury filled with riches. And Brahman said, king, I'm a Brahmin. I just want to meditate. I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to be an administrator. I don't want to be a tax collector. All I want to do is sit and meditate. You keep your treasury. You keep your villages. You keep your cities. All I want is 3 steps of land. The king said, well, I already said you could have anything you want. And if this is what you want, please ask for something. When you receive it, you won't have to come back to me again. I know I'm going to give you 3 steps of land, and you're going to come back to me at the next yajna and say, hey, it's not enough. Ask for something substantial. The Brahmin said, no, king. I don't want anything more than 3 steps of land. King said, okay, I grant you the 3 steps of land. The Brahmin avatar said, please take the sankalpa. The king took the sankalpa and said, I promise to give you 3 steps of land. And then the little dwarf started to grow. And he grew and grew, and his body went through the clouds until his foot covered the entire earth. And he said, O king, my first step, the whole earth is mine. And then he raised his foot. And he raised his foot through the clouds and through the atmosphere and up through heaven and past Indraloka. And he raised his foot until it came to Brahmaloka. And Brahma was sitting in Brahmaloka saying, oh my God, it's Vishnu's foot. And he took the water from his water pot. Ganga was in the water pot. He said, the supreme divinity has come to my home. I have to offer water for washing his feet. And he poured the water over Vishnu's foot, and Ganga started to fall off of Vishnu's foot. And she raced through the heavens, and she raced through the atmosphere. And the 7 rishis, all the stars, were running out of the way, getting out of the way, because Ganga was coming down with a real force of the river. And they said, only Shiva would have the capacity to stop the fall of Ganga, otherwise she'll wash everything away. So Shiva came, and he took Ganga on his head. And Ganga landed on his head and trickled down his locks and into the Himalayas. And she came down to earth. And that's how Ganga descended to earth, from the water pot that Brahma was holding in the Brahmaloka. So on one hand he's got the water pot with Ganga, and the other hand he's got the shruva offering ghee to the sacred fire. I want to tell you about the 3rd step. Vishnu said to the king, hey Bali, with my 1st step, the earth belongs to me, and with my 2nd step, all the heavens belong to me. What's left? Where should I put my 3rd step? And the king bowed down and said, right here, Lord. Please put your step on my head. Let my head belong to you as well. And so Vishnu gave him the boon. And Bali's head became Vishnu's property as well. Okay, in his lower right hand there is a mala, and his lower left hand is a spoon for pouring oblations. Now there's 2 spoons. There's a shruva and a shrak. Gautam, on my harmonium, there's 2 spoons. Actually, there are 3. Bring all 3 of them to me, please. And a shruva is used for pouring the ghee, and the shrak is used for catching the drips. After you pour the ghee, sometimes you see I make a mess all around my asan. Thank you. This one is called a shruva, and this one is called a shrak. And oftentimes you can use them together and dip the ghee and catch it, dip into the ghee and catch it with the shrak. And then you bring it over the Havan Kund and make the oblation. And then you bring it back and take the next one. It doesn't work well when you're chanting a text, because you need a 3rd arm to turn the pages. But when you're doing japa, the old tradition was to use the shruva and the shrak. So Brahma has a shruva in his right hand and a shrak in his left hand. And the 4 Vedas are situated around him. They're chanting. Savitri is at his left side, and Saraswati is at his right, and all the rishis are gathered around. And we think of the progenitor of all beings born. Om Bang, we bow to Brahma. Om Bang in the thumb I bow. Om Bing in the forefinger I am one with God. Om Boom in the middle finger purify. Om Boing in the ring finger cut the ego. Om Bom in the little finger ultimate purity. And then rolling hands over hands front and back. Om Ba, I bow to Brahma with the weapon of virtue. Om Bang, I bow to Brahma. Om Bang in the heart I bow. Om Bing on the top of the head I am one with God. Om Boong on the back of the head purify. Om Bing crossing both arms cut the ego. Om Bom in the 3 eyes ultimate purity. Om Ba, I bow to Brahma with the weapon of virtue. Om Bang, I bow to Brahma. We bow to Brahma and we make japa with that mantra. Om Bang, we bow to Brahma. Now the worship of Vishnu. Om, we meditate on the manifestation of consciousness. We contemplate the Lord of the earth. May that Vishnu grant us increase. The cause of peace is lying on a snake, from whose navel sprang the lotus. So it should say the cause of peace from whose navel sprang the lotus is lying on a snake. Because the lotus sprang forth from Vishnu's navel, not from the navel of the snake. However, we followed the Sanskrit here. He is the Lord of gods who supports the universe, appearing as the sky and is dark as a cloud with a beautiful body. So he's blue like the sky. He's infinite. You can't measure him. And his body is dark like a cloud, so it's a dark blue. Megavarnang Shubhangam. And he's Shubhanga. Remember we talk about Anga Puja? And Anga is the body, so he's got a Shuv Anga. It's really a beautiful bod. The Lord of Lakshmi with lotus eyes is realized by yogis in meditation. We worship Vishnu, who removes the fear of existence and who is master of all the worlds. Whenever the forces of Dharma become weak, O Bharat, O you who manifest light, in order to put down the forces of unrighteousness, my soul takes birth in creation. And whenever Dharma is weak in any way, the ideals of perfection are lost, my soul is going to incarnate in a form that you can perceive and have a relationship with and inspire you to nobility. To protect those who strive for spiritual life, to destroy the performance of evil, in order to establish the principles of Dharma, from time to time I make my presence manifest. No weapons can pierce it, no fire can burn it, water cannot make it wet, nor can the wind blow it. You know, that's an interesting shloka. It came in the Bhagavad Gita, but before that it was in Katha Upanishad. In its entirety. And many of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita can be referenced to the Upanishads. So this is a demonstration that soul is immortal. It. What is that it? It's the Purusha. It's the divine spark of life. It's the Atma. And it's the Paramatma. And it can't be destroyed, it can't be burned, it can't be wet, it can't be blown. It's eternal. I bow to the Lord of creation and to the examples of radiant light, to the creator of the world, to Krishna, to Govinda. I bow, I bow. I bow to he who is manifest in the 3 worlds. I bow to he who is beyond the 3 worlds. I bow to he who is in every direction. May my thoughts remain fixed on him. I bow to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is the essence of all the worlds. He is the doer of all, the controller of the senses, dissolver, and is undefeatable. It is this Vishnu that is my truth. And it is this Vishnu that is my world. It is this Vishnu that is my all. Please destroy all sin. The manifestation of consciousness is the supreme divinity. The manifestation of consciousness is the highest austerity. The manifestation of consciousness is the supreme God. Everything is the manifestation of consciousness. Now, please note how we worship Chandi as the supreme divinity female, and we worship Durga as the supreme divinity female, and we worship Kali as the supreme divinity female, and we worship Lakshmi as the supreme divinity female, and we said Saraswati is the supreme divinity female, and we said Brahma is the supreme creator masculine, and we said Vishnu is the supreme consciousness masculine. Everything is the manifestation of supreme divinity. That's what the theme of the cosmic puja is again and again. Everything is the manifestation of consciousness. Everything is the manifestation of supreme divinity. Again and again, the one thesis that permeates the entire cosmic puja is it's all God. And me too. And me too. And we're all part of this one divine spirit. And that's the recollection we're trying to establish. We're trying to awaken and empower within us all. That we always remember from moment to moment that all of this is the manifestation of consciousness. All of this is divine. Brahmarpanam, Brahma Habir, Brahma Agnam, Brahma Nakutam, Brahma Eva, only Brahma. Brahma karma samadhina. And Brahma is the karma by which all of this is realized. By the sadhana by which the realization is achieved is through Brahma. It's all this is God. Om Klang in the thumb I bow. Om Kling in the forefinger I am one with God. Om Klang in the middle finger purify. Om Kling in the ring finger cut the ego. Om Klang in the little finger ultimate purity. Om Kla I bow to Vishnu with the weapon of virtue. Om Kling Vishnu I bow to Vishnu. Om Klang in the heart I bow, Om Kling on the top of the head, I am one with God. Om Klung on the back of the head, purify. Kling, crossing both arms, cut the ego. Om Klang in the three eyes, ultimate purity. Om Kla, I bow to Vishnu with the weapon of virtue. Om Kling, I bow to Vishnu. I'd really like to call your attention to the worship of Vishnu, Krishna, and Kali. Because both the Bij Mantra Klim and the Bij Mantra Krim apply to both of them. And Ka means the cause. And La means the gross body, manifested existence. And E means the causal body. And that which is known through intuition or meditation. And Anuswar means perfection. The cause of the merging of the gross body into the causal body. And to the perfection, the perfect union is Klim. Both Kali's job and Krishna Vishnu. Rishikeshna, Vasudeva, Janardana. Cream, Ka, is the cause, Ra is the subtle body, E is the causal body, and Anuswar is the perfection, the cause of bringing your thoughts into perfect harmony with your heart is Cream. And both apply to all three deities. The manifestations of Vishnu and the manifestations of Kali. Because Kali takes away the darkness and she causes the ignorance of duality to sanghar, to dissolve into the being in the causal body in perfection. And Krishna and Vishnu are the protectors. They protect us. All our thoughts, all our activities will dissolve in union and create a bond between our heart and our mind. Our gross body, our subtle body, and our causal body will all come into the perfection of harmony through Vishnu's protection. And they both share the same Bij mantras. Om Klim Vishnave Namaha. Do we have any other questions?
Swamiji, I have a question.
Please.
You spoke about the Soham mantra.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about the benefits from chanting this mantra and why we do it?
Soham is most effectively translated as so being that, or prakriti, and ham being aham, meaning consciousness, purush. So, ham, purush, prakriti, prakriti, purush. And oftentimes it's called the Sagarbha, it's the Guru Bij of Soham. And in many Shaivite traditions, it is the specific Bij mantra through which pranayama is practiced. So, on the inhalation, Ham, on the exhalation. And often it's practiced without a kumbhak. So there's just a purak and a rechak. And by doing this, you can come into many forms of pranayama. There are many ratios through which pranayama is practiced. We teach primarily the classic pranayama of 1, 4, 2. 1 inhalation, 4 retention, 2 exhalation, and this is a classic pranayama. There are so many other practices of pranayama, and we will have occasions for each of them. So Soham mantra leads to Kapal Bhati. And you can do it mentally, where you don't even need to pronounce it. I'm only expressing it so that you get the understanding. This is another form of pranayama. There is another form, so... So, Soham means Purush, Prakriti means Shiva Shakti, it means Guru, and Guru Shakti or Jnana Shakti. It is in the Garbo, in the Bindu, in the Guru Jantra. In the meditation, the first meditation of the Guru Gita, we will find Soham. Are there other questions?
Swamiji, there's a question from Kumari.
Yes.
On page 293, we are saying, may that Vishnu grant us increase. Please comment, what does Vishnu increase for us?
Vish means the universe. And Vishnu, who pervades the universe. So his quality of all pervasiveness is our protection. He is the protector of all divinity. Because he pervades the universe, he reminds us that he is everywhere. That everything we perceive is a manifestation of Vishnu. He is all-pervasive. So that increase in perceiving and recognizing His presence everywhere in His creation, that's the increase that we ask.
Another question. It says that when Brahma and Vishnu tried to measure an endless pillar of fire, Brahma supposedly lied and he was cursed by Shiva that no one would worship Brahma or have a temple for Brahma. So I was curious why we worship Brahma, and for increase in which quality would we worship Brahma, and is there any Stotram for Brahma?
Yes, there is a Stotram for Brahma. I don't have it presently, but I will find one and recite it for you. There are many Stotrams for Brahma. Shiva's curse to Brahma was that first of all, Brahma had 5 heads, and Shiva cut off one of them and said, the head that told the lie, that head you don't need anymore. So I'm making you 4-headed. And then his curse was, your worship will not be widespread. Not that no one will worship you, because in Vrindavan there's a temple for Brahma, and in Pushkar there's a temple for Brahma. And in Agastya Muni Ashram, Agastya Ashram in Upper Assam, there's a temple for Brahma. There are 3 temples for Brahma, and in the Devi Mandir in Napa, there's a temple for Brahma, because in our Chandipat, Brahma plays a very important part. He is the one who, in chapter 1, awakens. He calls upon Vishnu to wake up. Vishnu is sleeping, and so then Brahma recites a very important stotram for the Divine Mother, Yoga Nidra. And she woke up, and she came out of Vishnu and woke up Vishnu. So Brahma played a very important part in the Chandipat. Also in the Pradhanikam Rahasya, we find Brahma and Vishnu and Shiva taking birth from the 3 manifestations of the goddess. So therefore Brahma is worshipped as an intrinsic part of the cosmic puja. His designation is specified in the map of the cosmic puja, that he will have a prominent role to play. He's also the spouse of Saraswati. He plays a very important role in awakening the Divine Mother's energy, so that consciousness can defeat too much and too little and put ourselves in balance. That is a new creation. When we defeat too much and too little and say, hey, what I want is to sit still. What I want is to lead a divine life. We give birth to a new creation. It says, I'm destroying the old creation. I'm leaving the old creation. I'm quitting my job. I'm selling my house. I think some of you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to the Devi Mandir, where I can worship a new creation. And I think most of us that are here have had that experience, where there was a transformation and a new creation. A whole new creation. I didn't even know where I was going to sleep. I didn't know where I was going to eat. I didn't know where I would live or in what circumstances. And all of us in some way made it to the Devi Mandir. We took the chance. And Brahma nurtured that inspiration and made a new creation based on those new values, new goals, new ideals, new concepts of what a perfect life would be to me. Because before, society had told me I should study these subjects and get a degree in this profession and get a vocation and get a job and get a steady source of income so I can make car payments and rent payments ad nauseum for the rest of my life. And that was my reality. And suddenly, one day I got the inspiration to change it. And there was this transformation, and Brahma came up within me and said, I'm making a new creation and it's going to look differently. And the old stuff goes in mothballs, or it goes in closets or in storage shelters. And there's a new me. Suddenly, how Brahma acts in our lives.
Another question.
Please.
From Kumari. If we have an Ishta Devata, which may be feminine, is it necessary to worship both feminine and masculine aspect of God?
No. It is not necessary, but it's certainly desirable. It is not, if you can stay just reciting Om, then stay there. But if your mind wanders, say Om Ring. And if you can't stay there, then use other mantras. As long as you can stay in the worship of your Ishtadeva or Devi, then stay there. But there is an advantage to worshiping many aspects, both masculine and feminine. Each of these sources of divinity, each of these manifestations of divinity brings a new bhav and a new attitude and a new energy and empowers us in a different way. It's just like when I tried to be a craftsman, I had a hammer and a screwdriver in my tool chest. And when I went to perform any repair, I was really indisposed. A good craftsman like Kiran has a truck full of tools, and he knows which tool to use for which job, and he is empowered to perform many, many functions and many, many repairs. In fact, he keeps the ashram running. Vishwakarmane Namaha. In the same way, those of us who want to do spiritual work in this world want to build a good tool chest and have a solid foundation of how many tools we have to carry with us to change the bhava of a certain circumstance. We can't do it with only a hammer and a screwdriver. We may need Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar, and Mahakali, and Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. As many tools as we have, as many attitudes as we have, as many mantras as we have, so many places we can travel to and bring harmony to that location immediately upon our arrival. In fact, when we were traveling, I would walk into a temple and see the layout of the altar and know which mantras are appropriate for which pujas to be performed in this particular temple. Then I opened up my tool chest and reached in for the proper tools and created a bond and a harmony. And that's why and how we in the Devi Mandir became so eclectic. We have a book for Durga and one for Shiva, and one for Kali and one for Saraswati, and we have one for Ram and one for Krishna and one for Hanuman and one for... We celebrated divinity in every form. So we could go anywhere, into anyone's space of divinity, and share our love for God in terms and symbols and attitudes and feelings that they understood. And that empowers us to do our work more efficiently, just as Kiran's truck full of tools empowers him. The answer is no. If you can stay in one mantra, stay there. But if you can't, go to the next mantra. And the next, until you can stay at one of them. Or, it says in the Chandi, this entire Chandi pot is one mantra. Are there any further questions?
Can I ask?
Certainly.
Swamiji, in this Lord Vishnu says that his soul comes from time to time. And earlier in the Cosmic Puja we said Om Atmane Namaha, Om Antaratmane Namaha, Om Pam Paramatmane Namaha, Him Yanatmane. So what are all these Atmas? How is Vishnu's soul connected to Paramatma?
Well, he doesn't say his soul comes from time to time. He says his soul becomes manifest from time to time in a form of divinity which all devotees recognize as divine. Now, those who are not devotees will not recognize it. So these various forms of the Atma, these various forms of the soul, which are intrinsic to our being, the Antaratmane is the soul within, and the Atma is the soul without, in and out. And the Paramatma is the supreme soul, and the Jnanatma is the soul of all wisdom, and the Jivatma is the soul which is manifest in this particular form. Each one is a different form of consciousness, a different way of expressing the nature of consciousness. How can we get in touch with something as so shukshma, shukshmadi shukshma, so subtle, so very fine and subtle? How can we describe the distinctions in something that's so subtle we can't talk about its form? So in English we don't have a language for it. And that's the importance of studying Sanskrit, because the very study of Sanskrit will push you towards the experience in order to understand what the word is telling you about. It inspires the experience so that you get a grasp of the distinctions of what are these words trying to talk about. You can't describe it in English. There's no vocabulary. So then, if you study the Sanskrit, you go deeper and deeper into the meditative states which Sanskrit is speaking about, so you can understand the distinctions between the soul that's within and the soul that's the deepest most soul within, and the soul that embodies this, is embodied in this entire form, and the supreme soul which is ever expansive. And the soul of wisdom, how do you grab onto the soul of wisdom? I remember the book of Proverbs in chapter 8. Solomon was screaming out, "Wisdom stands at the gates to the city. Hearken unto her. Listen to her." But no one could see her. She was there calling out from the gates, from the top of the doorway. Everyone listen to wisdom and act in accordance. And Solomon went on to say in chapter 10, if you find a man of wisdom, let your foot wear out his doorstep. And here we are grasping for English terms. There are no synonyms. You must experience the feeling. You must experience the fervor and the passion and the sincerity in order to reach for an understanding of the word. That's why we want to study the Sanskrit. English alone, it won't give it to us. Sanskrit will force us into the experience. Deeper and deeper and deeper without cease. Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.